نعم. تفضل يا أخي.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah says, and his saying Ta'ala, in the meaning of which, and worship Allah and associate not with Him. Surah Nisa, ayah number 36 to the end of the verse. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah says, the fourth verse, the meaning of which, and worship Allah and associate not with Him.
نعم. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. فاللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما أصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. Now one comment that we should pay attention to is that the word verse we should stay away from. And we should say ayah. We should say ayah. And the reason behind that is that they do not call, in Arabic, they don't call a verse of poetry an ayah. But in English, they do. So a verse of poetry. So when we say this word, you see how it gets problematic, doesn't it? So we understand that they don't intend it in this way, but either way, we have to pay attention to it and stay away from it. Nah.
Jazakallahu khairan, ahsanallahu ilaykum. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen continues, his saying, in the meaning of which an associate not, is in the place of the phrase La ilaha, meaning there is no deity worthy of worship, because it is a negation. His saying, in the meaning of which and worship, is in place of illallah, meaning except Allah, since it is an affirmation. His saying shay'an, meaning none, is an indefinite article in the context of negation. Therefore, it encompasses all things, no prophet, nor an angel, nor a wali. In fact, nothing from the things of this world. Do not join any worldly thing as a partner in worship with Allah. When the worldly thing becomes a person's ultimate goal, he worships them as he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said,
نعم.
ruined is this.
Not don't make anything of the dunya. The Imam rahimahullah ta'ala said, لا تجعل الدنيا شريكا مع الله. The translation that I would give is don't make the whole dunya. You see the whole dunya and everything in it? The whole dunya, ya ikhwa, and everything in it. That's a lot, isn't it? Imagine if you had the whole dunya and everything in it, all the money, all the palaces, all the cars, all the planes, the islands, all the land, everything on the face of the earth is yours. Everything. It's gold, it's women, it's... That is... all of that, all of this dunya, don't make it a partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't make it your main concern and what you chase after. Even if you were given age 1,000 years to enjoy all of these things, never make it your ham, the thing that you are actively seeking and yearning for. Nah.
Ahsanallahu ilaykum. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen continues, when the worldly things become a person's ultimate goal, he worships them as he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, ruined is the servant of dinar, ruined is the servant of dirham, ruined is the servant of velvet textured clothes, and ruined is the slave of khamisa. His saying, in the meaning of which, and show kindness to parents, its explanation is as was given in the previous ayah. His saying, in the meaning of which, and to kindred and
Why?
orphans and
Why
nephews.
ruined is he? Because the pleasures of this dunya, ikhwa, the pleasures of this dunya, of this life, they're not perfect. They're not perfect. There will always be what? There will always be some hollowness in it, some incompletion in it. And the one who has qana'a, ya ikhwa, yani he accepts whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives because he's desiring the hereafter. He's the one that is most satisfied, subhanallah. He's the one that doesn't suffer from these things. Why? Because he's looking at the hereafter where the true, complete and perfect happiness is. So when he looks at this life, it doesn't affect him. So he's not affected by the hollowness and the imperfection and the lack, that which is lacking. نعم, and it's fleeting. أحسنت, Black Seal. Wallahi, you brought it at the best place. Allahumma barak. Couldn't have said it better. It's fleeting. It will go away. You're enjoying it now. 10 minutes later, you're not enjoying it anymore. صح? Wallahi, if I brought you the most delicious food and drink, how much are you going to spend enjoying it? Sometimes, ya akha, we get some ice cream, we get something that tastes so nice, Allahumma barak, or some tea, or something that tastes amazing. طيب, how much do you spend enjoying it? 15 minutes? خلاص. It's done. And you know what, ya ikhwa? If you were to add another one, and another one, if you eat the second or the third one, you don't want anymore, isn't it? Khalas, you're like, it's too much. I cannot. This is too... yes, the first one is amazing, but now it's too sweet, too much sugar, too this, too that, right? You cannot constantly be in this state. Subhanallah, this is life, ya ikhwa. This is life. So we understand, barakallahu fikum, the bottom line, it's not worth it to give up your hereafter for something that is never lasting, that is fleeting. And even in the moment of happiness, in this fleeting life and sensation and emotions and so on and feelings, it's also not perfect. It is also lacking. It is also, there's sometimes sadness in it, dissatisfaction in it, sometimes. Subhanallah. Yeah.
Sallallahu alaykum. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen continues his saying, in the meaning of which, and to kindred and orphans and the needy, that is, treat them with kindness. The kindred are those with whom one shares the fourth ancestral father. The word al-yatama is the plural of al-yatim.
Fourth ancestral grandfather. Yani your fourth grandfather. You understand? Not your grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, la, great-great-great-grandfather. This is what is meant. No.
Ahsanallahu ilaykum. The word al-yatama is the plural of al-yatim, meaning orphan, and it refers to the one whose father dies while he has not attained maturity.
Na'am, and this is a common mistake that happens. A lot of people, they make the mistake, they say, but he's a yatim. I know somebody that says about his wife that she's an orphan. He says she's an orphan, she's yatima. She's over 40 years old, ya akha. She's over 40. La, this is a misconception, a common mistake. What is meant by yatim, an orphan, is the one that didn't hit puberty and his father dies. You understand? No.
Ahsanallahu ilaykum. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah continues, al-miskin, meaning the needy, are those who do not have property and thus poverty set on them.
Naam, they don't have wealth. Naam.
Ahsanallahu ilaykum. Ibn Sabil, meaning the wayfarer, refers to the traveler whose provisions get exhausted.
Naam, Ibn As-Sabil. Naam.
Ahsanallahu ilaykum. His saying, in the meaning of which, and to the neighbor who is a kinsman and the neighbor who is a stranger. A neighbor is the one who lives near a person's house or those around him. The kinsman refers to a relative, so the neighbor who is a stranger refers to the distant neighbor. His saying, in the meaning of which, and the companion by your side, it is said to mean the wife. It is also said to mean your companion during a journey, since he would be by your side. Both interpretations are correct, and the ayah is applicable to them. His saying, in the meaning of which, and those whom your right hand possess, this involves being kind towards the slaves and animals, since they are all right hand possessions. His statement, in the meaning of which, surely Allah loves not the arrogant and the boastful. Al-Mukhtal refers to the arrogant in his postures. Al-Fakhur, boastful in his speech. And Allah loves not this or the other.
نعم. إن الله لا يحب من كان مختالا فخورا. Mukhtal is in his hay'ah, in how he is. And al-fakhur is the one who boasts and is arrogant in his sayings, rather than in his posture and يعني self. نعم. This is beautiful. These are beautiful benefits. This is an imam, ya ikhwa, that is speaking. The students of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, just so you know, يعني يا ikhwa, the students of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, who are now mashayikh themselves in their 50s or 60s, when I over the phone, when I'm speaking to some of them, they say, Al-Imam Ibn Uthaymeen is not like you and I, they would tell me. Of course, this is out of humbleness, or I am nowhere near them, but say, it's not like you and I. He's an imam in the language, in the different branches of knowledge, in usul, in this, in that, and he's an imam, ya ikhwa. So you see these beautiful, beautiful benefits, and I always say this, it's like he's like a sea of knowledge. Every time he brings you something new. Yani when you read 10 books for a person or 20 books for somebody, and this is, by the way, this is uniqueness, this is tamayyuz, this is excellency. Sometimes the same information is repeated. The same. Sometimes you might say, wallah, there isn't much new in this book or this explanation. But Imam Ibn Uthaymeen surprises you. Every time you open a book, you're like, Allahu Akbar. What are these benefits? What are these diamonds? What is this? These new benefits that the Imam is giving, throwing our way. New meanings. Allahu Akbar. It's like you're taking from a sea. You're drinking from a sea. And I mean in terms of a sea of knowledge. You're taken from a sea of knowledge. Rahimahullah rahmatan wasi'ah. And like this, ya ikhwa, are the people of ilm. Like Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim and Ibn Kathir and Ibn Rajab. And so on, from the people of ilm. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on them. Ameen. Na'am.
Sallallahu alaykum. Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah says, and his saying ta'ala, the meaning of which, say, I will recite to you what your Rabb has forbidden, that you associate not as partner with him. Al-An'am, ayah 151, to the end of the ayat. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah says, the 5th to 7th verses, ayat, his saying ta'ala, in the meaning of which, say, come, I will recite to you what your Lord has forbidden, that you associate not as partner with him, and that you do good to parents, and that you slay not your children out of poverty. It is we who provide for you and for them, and that you approach not foul deeds, whether open or secret, and that you slay not the soul, the slaying of which Allah has forbidden, save in accordance with the demands of justice. That is what He has enjoined upon you, that you may understand. In addition, approach not the property of the orphan, except in a way which is best, till he attains his maturity, and give full measure and weigh with equity. We charge not any soul except according to its capacity, and when you speak, observe justice, even if the person concerned be a relative, and fulfill the covenant of Allah. That is why He enjoins upon you that you may take care and say, this is my straight path, so follow it, and follow not other ways, lest they lead you away from His way. That is what He enjoins upon you, that you may be able to guard against evils. Surah Al-An'am, ayah 151 to 153.
I understand that the hamza is difficult to pronounce as English speakers, so you say an'am. The ayn is different. There's the a sound, so you say an'am. It's different than a. But I understand that it is difficult. You might, because you don't have these two sounds. But the a, I think, is easier. So you can say an'am, just like say apple, huh? An'am. Na'am.
Jazakallahu khairan. Ahsanallahu ilaykum. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah says, the address was to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah ordered him to tell the people, ta'alaw, meaning look here and come. Its etymology is from the word al-alu, meaning to rise up to a height.
Na'am, al-ulu. Etymology. That's a big word, isn't it? Do you know what etymology means? Etymology. I give you an English lesson now, inshallah. طيب. Etymology, ya ikhwa, has to do with the root of the words, how it came up, what does it mean in origin. This is what is meant. Etymology. So he's saying, linguistically, yani. So he says, lexically, linguistically, and its roots, and so on. So he says, وَأَصْلُهُ مِنَ الْعُلُوِّ, and it is from the word عُلُوِّ. عُلُوِّ is what, ya ikhwa? Loftiness, aboveness. This is what is meant. Now,
Ahsanallahu ilaykum. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah continues, as if the caller calls you to climb up to his place, saying ta'al, meaning come up to me. He's saying,
what a beautiful linguistic benefit, isn't it? Subhanallah. We say ta'al, come here. He told you linguistically in origin, it is from ulu. Ulu is what? Aboveness and highness. Literally. Yani a'la is above. طيب. So when he says ta'al, as if he's saying, yani, rise to me, come to me, subhanallah. Na'am.
Ahsanallahu ilaykum. He's saying, atlu, may I recite, in the jussive mode in response to the imperative ta'alu, meaning come. He's saying, in the meaning of which what your Lord has forbidden, the particle ma, meaning what, is a relative pronoun, object to the word atlu with an omitted pronoun, meaning ma harramahu rabbukum alaykum, meaning that which your Lord.
Now Uthman has showed me that Allahumma barik, his Arabic is good. Sent, waffaqak Allah. What is this? What is this? We're not English teachers, are we? Relative pronouns, and I don't know what to say. Easy, easy. Relative pronouns are what? Is who, what, which, when, that, and so on. These words, who, when, where. But not when asking questions, when referring to something or somebody or some place and so, or some time. So what do you mean? And I say, remember the time when we sat to read Al-Qawl al-Mufeed? I made it rhyme for you as well. طيب, unintentionally. طيب. So you say, remember the Sheikh whom you and I said, hi, you see this? So we say, the doctor who gave the medicine. So here we're not asking a question. We're saying who, meaning the one. الذي, التي, like al-ism al-mawsul in Arabic. This is what is meant by relative pronouns. See how easy this is? They just scare us with jargon, by the way. They scare us with names. Relative pronouns, transitive verbs. What are you talking about? Very easy. Once we explain them, you know them. Anyway. طيب. So he's saying that here, ma, meaning the ayah means, come let me recite to you that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade upon you. That's all. That's all there is to it. He's saying ma means this. The relative pronoun. Now.
Ahsanallahu ilaykum. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah continues, he said your Rabb and not what Allah has forbidden, because the use of the word Rabb is more appropriate since the Rabb has an absolute control over the creatures. His judgment over them is as his wisdom necessitates. He's saying the meaning of which that you associate not, the particle, and expresses an explanation. It explains, I will recite.
Ajib, huh? Imam Ibn Uthaymeen looks at every word in the ayah and tells you this is using. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said Rabb, didn't say didn't say Allah. Or subhanallah. Why did he? Imam Ibn Uthaymeen says, what is the diamond, huh? Behind Allah saying Rabb and not saying Allah, for example. Isn't this what Imam Ibn Uthaymeen is saying here? طيب, what is it? Imam Ibn Uthaymeen, you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu in worship, somebody might disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this ayah, your Rabb, the one who has control over everything, the one who everything is under his dominion and sovereignty, because this is lordship, isn't it? He is the one that forbade upon you, so on. So therefore the word Rabb is there because of the meanings of rububiyyah there. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Look at the ulama, ya ikhwa. Every word they scrutinize and they get the meaning behind it. Subhanallah. Nah.
Ahsanallahu ilaykum. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah continues, it explains, I will recite to you what your Rabb has forbidden. That is, may I recite to you that you should associate not with him. The particle is not infinitive, although that view had been expressed. In that case, the particle la will imply a mere addition. However, the first position is the most correct. May I recite to you the prohibition of joining partners with Allah, because Allah has not prohibited us from not associating partners with Him. He has actually prohibited us from joining partners with Him. From the things that emphasize that, meaning the particle, and expresses an explanation is that the particle la used here is nugatory, since it fits into the context of use. As such, the whole sentence expresses command. His saying, the meaning of which, and that you do good to parents, that is, and may I recite to you the order to be kind to parents. His saying, the meaning of which, and that you slay not your children. After stating the rights of the ancestors, he stated the rights of the progenies. Al-awlad in the Arabic lexicon includes both the males and the females. For example, Allah Ta'ala says, the meaning of which Allah commands you concerning your children, a male shall have as much as the share of two females. Surah Nisa, Ayah 11. His saying, min imlaq, out of poverty. Imlaq means poverty.
There was a portion that I was contemplating. And the Sheikh, I think this is a, Allah, I've forgotten which lesson we explained this. That يعني say, let يعني come, let me recite upon you what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade upon you, that you don't commit shirk with him. Allah forbade what? I'm asking you, answer me. Uthman says shirk. Like the ayah says that you don't do shirk. Doesn't say shirk. I explained this, but I forgot. Maybe in the academy of SOK Academy, or it was here. I forgot. Maybe somebody can remind me. Adil says shirk. طيب, the ayah doesn't say shirk. The ayah says, قُلْ تَعَالَوْا أَتْلُوا مَا حَرَّمَ رَبُّكُمْ عَلَيْكُمْ. Say, come, that I recite what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade upon you. أَلَّا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْءٍ. That you don't associate partners with him. Allah forbade that you don't associate? Yani not associating partners with Allah is forbidden? Sheikh Uthman said in the academy, I explained this. This is problematic, isn't it? That's what the ayah literally says, by the way. Some of the people of ilm, ya akhwa, some of the people of ilm, they said that la here is tawqeed. And this happens in the Arabic language. It's used in the Arabic language. La uqsimu biyawmi al-qiyamah. I swear by the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, why is there la? La means I don't swear. La, they say this is tawqeed. This is an intensifier that is used in the Arabic language. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke Arabic in the Quran. The Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran is Arabic. طيب. So this is one of the sayings of the people of ilm. The other saying, that you stop when you recite. قُلْ تَعَالَوْا أَتْلُوا مَا حَرَّمَ رَبُّكُمْ عَلَيْكُمْ. And then you stop. Say, come, I recite upon you what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade upon you. أَلَّا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Do not associate partners with him. See now how it changed. It changed now. Why? Because we stopped. And this is how it is recited. This is another saying for the people of ilm. Nah. And Imam Ibn Uthaymeen said that an here is tafsiriyya, yani it's explanatory, and what comes after it is a command not to commit shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, commanding you not to do so. Nah.
Assalamu alaykum. Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah says, his saying min imlaq, meaning out of poverty. Imlaq means poverty. The particle min expresses cause and reason, that is, because of poverty. His saying, the meaning of which it is we who provide for you and for them, that is, if you spare them your provisions will not be straitened because it is Allah who provides. Here he began with the provision of the parents, but in Surah Al-Isra he began with the provision of the children. The wisdom of this is that here he said min imlaq, meaning out of poverty, so poverty has already been encountered. Thus he began with the mention of the two parents encountering poverty. However, there he said khashyata imlaq, meaning for fear of poverty. They were both already rich, but they fear poverty. So he started by mentioning the provision of the children before that of the parents. To restrict the prohibition of killing children to the reason of fear for poverty is based on the common practice among the idolaters. Therefore, inference cannot be drawn from it. His saying, the meaning of which, and that you approach not foul deeds, he did not say and do not engage in, because the prohibition of approaching it is more emphatic than the prohibition of engaging in it. It also implies prohibition of whatever may lead to it. Thus it is forbidden for a man to stare at a strange woman or stay in seclusion with her, or that she travels without a mahram, because all these may lead to foul deeds. His saying, the meaning of which, whether open or secret, it is said that it means to manifest or hidden foul deed, because some foul deeds are despicable to everyone, while some may be a bit unclear. It is also said to mean that which you show and those you conceal. Those shown are such as unlawful intercourse done openly, and the refuge is with Allah alone, while the concealment is when it is done secretly. It is also said to mean that which is extremely horrible and something relatively lesser. This is because foul deeds are not entirely of the same category. Thus it is reported in the hadith that, should I not inform you of the most grievous major sins? This proves that some major sins are more serious than others. His saying, the meaning of which, and that you slay not the soul, the slaying of which Allah has forbidden. The soul which Allah has forbidden is the innocent soul, that is the soul of the Muslim, the non-Muslim under the protection of the Muslim rule, the non-Muslim under a covenant with the Muslim ruler, and the refugee. The word al-Haqq meaning
نعم. ألا أخبركم بأكبر الكبائر? Shall I not tell you with the biggest of major sins? There is a biggest of major sins. There are different levels. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. طيب. Let's put some time for a Q&A. Let's take some questions, inshallah, and then we stop. If you have a question, go ahead. Barakallahu fikum. Somebody is asking a question, and there's unnecessary information. I'll read only the necessary information. Should I pray at home if I suspect being attacked, mugged? نعم, you protect yourself. Protect yourself. If you are in a case of danger and so on, and if you're going to go outside, it will harm you, harm your family, property, and so on. You can pray at home until hardship passes, inshallah. So can you suggest some books for seeking ilm? What do you mean? What do you mean exactly by seeking ilm? So what is the ruling on compulsory military service under non-Muslim countries? Ask the muftis in regards to this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. If there's danger, protect yourself. Ya akhi, stay away from that which is harmful. Is it wrong to use the word created for a human if they make something? No, it's not. Or I should say designed this, made this. Created is the same thing as made. And khalaqa, yes, you can do this. And Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala also mentioned that our khalq, when we create, we put different created things together to get a new result. Not like the khalq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he creates something out of nothing. Nobody can do that. other than him subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the usage of the word is correct. Naam. Ustad, can you explain what is traveling for a woman? Than a woman ton 3 hours with the car to visit family or no? Okay, I understand the question. It doesn't have to do with women as well. It's whether men or women. The correct saying, barakallahu feekum, is that whatever is considered locally, culturally, when I say locally and culturally, this varies from one place to another. So the place where you live, culturally and locally there, it is considered to be traveling, then you take the rulings of a traveler, and she needs a mahram. But if it's not considered traveling locally, then she doesn't need a mahram. But of course, she has to be safe as well. She doesn't go in a dangerous way or a place where that is fearful. And not just for her, even for men. You don't go to somewhere where there is danger and so on. You have to prioritize your safety as well. So you understand. Let me give you an example so that it becomes easier on you. Let's say, for example, I lived in Germany. And when we used to go to a certain area called Bonn, it would take like a couple of hours. They didn't consider this to be traveling. Yeah, meaning what? Meaning they don't pack their bags and say their goodbyes because they are traveling. But to another place, they might do so, despite the fact that it might be the same distance or same time. Or let me give you a better example. In Kuwait, for example. Kuwait, if you spend 2 hours going to Saudi, you actually pack your bags. So in Germany, this is not considered to be traveling. When I was there, I didn't do qasr and so on, right? If somebody is living there and so on, then he doesn't do that. Why? It's not considered to be traveling by them. But in Kuwait, to go to Saudi, this is considered to be traveling. This is actually, you pack your bags, you say your goodbyes, you might bring some gifts when you come back, you might ask them if it's traveling. It's called. So this is where you apply the rulings for traveling. يعني عرفا. And this is what Imam Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala explained. So, is it permissible to break road rules set by the government in a Muslim and non-Muslim country? No. Abide by the law, barakallahu fikum. Abide by the rules. The rules are not put there out of nothing. It's for safety, ya ikhwa. It's for your safety, the safety of others. So never do that, barakallahu fikum. Respect the road rules, barakallahu fikum, and the land you are in. Yeah. I have access to no mufti. May Allah bless you and reward you with goodness. Ameen. And you. Well, I've been trying to reach out for some of our ulama and mashayikh for like 3 weeks, and I couldn't get access to anybody. So it's not just you. Sometimes people are busy. And at certain times, I had access every day. I would call and they would pick up. So it's not so easy, is it? Let's take a last question, inshallah. When we say this person owns something, Allah is still the owner of everything. So do we describe it as restricted ownership? Word Rabb, I was wondering. I was expecting that you're going to say, did I commit kufr? Because I said own, because this sounds like waswas to me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best if it's just, a thought or it's actually waswas or not. But no, everybody understands that who's the owner of the vehicle? Wallahi, I am the owner. Who's the owner of this computer? Wallahi, so-and-so is the owner. Meaning he's the one who bought it and it is his, right? So this has, nobody thinks that when you say this, that now you own something that Allah doesn't own. Nobody understands this, barakallahu fikum. So I am afraid, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us and you that we're falling into digging too deep. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت